Hello, everybody, and welcome back to No Rest for the Wicked, who just dropped an absolutely insane update. And listen, I knew this update was massive, but I did not know we added a whole ass new game to our game massive, which I'll explain in detail in a little bit. Before we jump into fully explaining what is in this update, I want to give a big thank you to Moon Studios and Private Division for sponsoring this video. I cannot explain to you how incredible it feels to love a game so much and then be sponsored to make content about it. So thank you guys so much. So in this update, they have added something very special to the game, but they've also added extended areas to the base early access experience, including one space that has a boss fight who drops a boss weapon, which was very cool. A whole new enemy faction has been added called the Gloam, the ability to freeze and shatter enemies, as well as ripping and tearing enemies with some very satisfying gore. Listen, some of us enjoy tearing off limbs. I don't know why, but if you are a fellow tearing enjoyer, this update's great for that. Stray cats and dogs have been added to Sacrament, so now after your adventures getting your ass kicked, you can come home and pet a beautiful kitty or a beautiful dog, and these are animated beautifully. I can tell whoever animated these, you guys have pets because they're so specifically done. Massive amounts of performance updates and bug fixes. I mean, look at this. I'm just scrolling forever and ever and ever. Steam Deck verification is officially here. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, there's a whole new game experience that has been added to No Rest for the Wicked with this update. So let's jump into what exactly I mean about that. The Serum Crucible has been entirely overhauled to be a roguelite experience. Now, the Serum Crucible was something that you could access before this update, but it played much more similarly to a kind of dungeon crawler experience, whereas now it is a roguelite experience. Moon Studios have more than doubled the number of randomized chambers within the Crucible, added a whole new art theme, brand new music, and 200 plus of what Moon are calling echoes, which act as No Rest for the Wicked roguelite buff and perk system, where you can try and put together a super overpowered build that hopefully enables you to have a successful Crucible run. These include things like buff to your overall health, to your focus regeneration, adding elemental effects to your weapons, making enemies blow up after you kill them, instantly killing enemies, lifesteal, reviving when you die. The list goes on and on. As I said, there's 200 plus, so there's a lot of them. Now, the really cool thing about how they've done echoes is it actually works perfectly with the already existing rarity system in No Rest for the Wicked. So the way that this works is you have white, which are common buffs. These will give you kind of smaller percentage buffs to your character, and then you'll have rare or blue buffs and perks, which are a little bit more impactful, and then you have purple, which are cursed buffs and perks, which you'll be familiar with if you've already played No Rest for the Wicked, because this works exactly how weapons and armor does. There's no white is worse and purple is better in this game. They just do different things. So in No Rest for the Wicked's roguelite mode, purple will give you some really good buffs, but it's gonna come with a downside that might hurt really bad. You also do have access to golden buffs and perks, which is something that you have to upgrade a vendor to get access to, but we'll talk about that vendor in a little bit. And I gotta say, Moon Studios really knocked it out of the park with this. The Serum Crucible experience is so addicting, and it has all of the things that you would experience playing another standalone roguelike game. You have the very familiar feelings and emotions of, I really love this build that I have going on. It's so fun. And then you mess up and die, and you want to go and start another run because you're so sad that you lost all of your buffs and perks, but you know that you can make an even better build if RNG just goes your way. I could see myself easily putting the same amount of time into just the Serum Crucible experience as I have the base game, especially now as it costs nothing to enter the Serum Crucible. You used to have to use Fallen Embers to get access to the Crucible, so you were kind of limited on the amount of runs that you can do because you needed more of that currency, and if you had used up all of that currency, too bad. You got to go farm for more of that currency. Whereas now you don't have to use anything to enter. All you have to do is follow a new quest that they have added to the game that introduces you to the Crucible, introduces you to some characters, really fleshes out the story behind the Serum Crucible, and also introduces you to a brand new vendor, which again, I will go into that vendor in detail. You also have access to the Serum Crucible right as you enter Sacrament now. Now, the way that it was before in early access is you had to complete all of the first act and then you could get access to the Serum Crucible. But now if you just do that first part of the game, enter the town, you're good to mess around with the Serum Crucible. So let's jump inside the Crucible to talk about how this thing actually works. You'll be making your way through randomized chambers of various types of enemies as you work towards the 10th and final chamber where you will meet the Echo Knight boss, who is a really great guy. Along your way, you're going to be picking up this yellow currency from killing enemies and a small amount from pots in each chamber. This currency is what you can use to purchase echoes to make some broken builds on your way to the boss. Now, unlike most roguelite games, you aren't picking a door to go through in order to obtain a buff or a perk. You can actually bring up the echoes menu whenever you want to and buy into an echo you really like the look of, or you can choose the skipper chamber echo if you happen to go to a chamber that is full of knights and you don't like them and you don't want to deal with them. So I thought this was really cool because you can kind of choose to buy into an echo that might help you in a chamber that you're really struggling in. You don't have to wait until you're done with that chamber. You can also use this currency to heal yourself and re-roll your options if you don't like any of your current ones. Now, when you manage to make it to the 5th chamber, that is where you're going to meet the brand new NPC called Seneschal. I'm going to go with Seneschal. I'm very sorry if that's wrong. And this NPC has a few projects that you can complete with the other currency that you earn in here called Gloam Seeds. The most exciting thing here is that he offers the ability to exalt weapons. Now, what this is just improving your weapon across the board. It increases your damage. It buffs all of the percentage chance things that you have on your weapon. It makes everything better. Now, this is fantastic for trying to complete more Crucible runs, but it also helps you with the rest of the game. So I can't wait to see 1.0 come out of No Rest for the Wicked, or even just further updates. And you want to really try to get into the Crucible to exalt your weapons so that you can just have a better weapon for the rest of the game. I think this is really cool how it interacts with the rest of the game. He also has an option that you can unlock where he will sell you items. This can be really nice for the harder to get things like silver ingots or fallen embers, which you can now use to reset all of your attributes. Or if you're me, getting more wool because you want to make a really cool looking hat and every roll that you've gotten on it sucks. I'm still trying. But he sells me wool, so now I can have more chances of getting that hat that I really, really want. This update has fully brought me back into No Rest for the Wicked. Not that I was ever really gone, but you know how it is with early access games. You play a ton, or at least I do. I jump in super deep, play a ton, and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna step away for a little bit because I'm gonna see what they add next. And this is what they've added next, and man, I am so addicted to the Serum Crucible because it's just such a good mode for that. I'll just do one more run. Just one more. It's like 15 minutes. It won't take long. It's so easy to get stuck in that loop with the Serum Crucible, as it is with all roguelite games. Like, they really knock this out of the park. So if you are interested in No Rest for the Wicked, now is such a good time to jump in because I already had a ton of time in the base experience. Now with the Serum Crucible added, I'm getting so much bang for my buck. It's crazy. If you are interested in the game at all, you can check the description where there'll be a link to the Steam store page. Currently, I believe it's got 20% off, so it's an even better time to jump in. It's like $30 and you get at least 70 hours. Like, I can promise you, if you vibe with this game, you will get at least 70 hours out of what is in the early access experience right now. And that's not even taking into account all the other stuff that's going to be added. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go do more Crucible runs where I am going to fail miserably because I'm bad. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to check the description for that link to the Steam store, and I will speak to you guys later. Bye.